time is here, no turning back. Will the robots lead, or will they lack? This is a trend we just can't miss. So let's chat about bots and beers and the biz.
Hola, and welcome back to Bots, Beers, and the Biz. This is the podcast that explores major trends in artificial intelligence and emerging technologies with a special focus on how small businesses can adapt and innovate in this environment. My name is Jason Price. I'm CEO of Aston Price. We are a Microsoft service integrator that helps small businesses and medium businesses adopt AI. And on my left...
Hi, my name is Skaar. I go by Skaar, president of Cloud Consulting Services Incorporated. We do IT consulting and staffing for public sector.
And on my right is...
Arby Leon, CEO of Maxi Commerce. We are an e-commerce platform trying to provide A to Z solution where some of the bigger names fall short of.
Cool. And if you think you wear a lot of hats, you're going to be surprised by the number that our special guest wears. He is CEO of Optimus Computing, which we learned is named after...
Optimus Prime.
Of course.
Leader of the Autobots.
He's a technology consultant and an entrepreneur. He provides software modernization, custom software development, and of course, artificial intelligence. And he moonlights as a digital marketer, a national public speaking champion. He's a 40 under 40 honoree. He's an MBA candidate at Boston University and a voice actor. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Kyle Duffy.
It's true. The one and only here and now. All those things I do, that's thanks to ADHD, folks. Undiagnosed.
So
but now medicated.
Yeah, exactly. What you got there?
It's a peanut butter porter.
Peanut butter porter, dark chocolate. This is a new one. I haven't seen this one before. But anyway, so because we're here with a small business audience, we wanted to understand what inspires your clients who happen to be small businesses to utilize AI.
Well, me. I inspire them to use AI. But if we have to be serious for a moment, the truth is this, is that AI is here to stay. It's not going anywhere. The big companies have put way too much money into it. So if you're not using it, then you're going to fall behind. But if we go even deeper, the truth is, like any great technology, AI really revolutionizes, improves efficiency, business processes, and the capability that a single person has. And that's why any business, big or small, needs to get on board.
I think it's especially important for small business because they're doing everything. Everybody's wearing so many hats, and wherever you can find additional time and productivity to give back to people, they can invest it right back into customers or process or...
Exactly. I think of like mom and pop restaurants. Mm-hmm. It's just family owned. And they work 7 days a week. They don't have time for anything. They're trying just to get by. They've got small margins on everything. Mm-hmm. AI can now become a huge part of their business, taking orders right from a website or talking about ingredients and other things. So it really is game-changing for everybody.
Now, I know at Optimus Consulting, you've done some AI projects before. I did it again.
I know. I should just change the name to consulting, honestly. Or just say Optimus.
There you go, Optimus. Yeah. I can live with that.
Yeah.
So you've already done some AI projects. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, there's one where the thing with AI is we're still working on almost all of them. So there's not one that we have finished. Mm-hmm. But that's part of the custom software space, is you're always building and upgrading and improving. The first one that hit our desk was... we're building a mobile application for a company that wants to get into the education space. Mm-hmm. And they want to specifically help students find jobs in this job market. And so the application, the software, what it does is it allows businesses like all of yours to post jobs, but to be fun with it. Post pictures as well, post videos as well, so that students are used to a social media kind of experience. Mm-hmm. And so the students can go find jobs in a format that they like. And then you can also create resumes. Well, who's going to help the students create the resumes? AI is. AI is going to provide the feedback and opinions on the resume that the student produces. As well, there's a test that the student can take to help them find, well, what are good jobs for you? And that's just like the tip of the iceberg. In the future, you're going to go crazy with AI of using it to help the students specifically search for jobs based on other criteria, based on like personal profiles, things the students can create. And then this will then expand beyond just students, and it'll be kind of open to everybody at some point.
So just to go off of that, I mean, this sounds like something like a brand new, whole different software. Are you seeing with your clients in the small business space, you're creating these AI like brand new softwares versus, or like brand new services basically, right? Like that's what this project sounds like. Or are you like seeing more of like optimization within business processes?
Because we are a custom software development company, we're always building something new for our clients. If you need something from Microsoft, you talk to you three. Don't talk to me. I'm not setting up your Microsoft email, whatever. I'm not setting up your Power BI. We are building custom from the ground up software systems to solve a problem.
Nice.
That could mean, like in a manufacturing standpoint, that could be a software system that is running on the side of their ERP platform. So it doesn't always have to be that we're building something that runs the whole business.
Sure.
It can be an attachment or a side platform. But there's always some kind of a process improvement or a benefit associated with it. Yeah.
Do you find that businesses have a hard time imagining that new service, that new product? How do you lead them to uncover the needs that their customers have that's going to lead them to something brand new that doesn't exist that can serve those needs?
I think everyone has that problem.
Yeah.
I have that problem, and I'm supposed to go in and consult and be like, here's what we can do for you.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't make me the most innovative, thought leader ever. But here's the secret sauce. There's two things you do. One, first you've got to figure out what are the business problems that the business has. It could be turnover. It could be sales related. It could be process based. It really doesn't matter. But what are the core problems that you're having? What are the customers complaining about? What are the employees complaining about? And then from there, you can look at, well, what is AI good at right now? And can we use it to solve these problems?
So kind of going off that question, when customers approach you or you approach customers, do they have a general idea, or are they just saying, hey, we want something that will help?
It's a little bit of both,
Okay.
For sure. Most of them are coming to us saying, we have this idea for this thing.
Okay.
But they don't have the depth into it yet to really understand. And oftentimes, when we're done with the discovery phase of learning their business processes, learning their problems, what they originally wanted versus what we're going to end up making, they're different. It's like a shred of what it was, and now this beautiful monolith, something better, will rise from the ashes.
So that whole meme of the tire swing is true?
It's very good. Yeah.
So do you see that AI, you mentioned it's like, what does AI have the capability then to solve? Where do you see those capabilities now? Where do you see them being in just even 6-9 months from now? Boom.
Oh, so exciting. Right now, for the average person, AI is really, really great when it comes to analyzing, processing data, and natural language models where we can talk to it and get responses back that sound very human. We see this everywhere. We see this with ChatGPT. Every website now is going to have a little chat bot, and they're going to sound human and be fun and all that kind of stuff. So that's what a lot of businesses are doing. But in the future, what we need is multimodal AI. And it's a fancy way of just saying AI, but let's add an audio component and a video component and the language process component and all of these components to make more of a super AI. And I'm not necessarily talking about like general artificial intelligence. I'm just talking about AI that's going to use your camera and microphone together at the same time, as well as maybe your watch's heart rate monitor, to now provide you with insights into how you're speaking in this podcast, and if you're nervous, and if you've had enough beer or not. And so it can record all of these things, your facial responses, how you sound in the microphone, and give feedback. And that can apply to anything. It can apply to your customers that come into the store for one reason or another. Did they have a good experience? So multimodal AI that understands all of the human, that's on the horizon. That's what that's next.
Do the capabilities in like text to speech seems pretty solid. We've had it for a while. Text to video,
We're
getting there.
Yeah. Text to pictures is
Yep.
all right.
Avatar,
Yeah.
It seems like right now there's a lot of just like you said, there's one dimensional. Even like ChatGPT, if you can talk into it and then it'll give you an answer, but it doesn't, like you said, take both like text, your video or whatever into account as well. So it does seem like right now it is a one source, like one input basically, version of AI. So do you see anything right now that's coming out, or do you just predict that will be something in like 9 months?
I don't think we're at 9 months. Honestly, it's probably going to be a year or 2 or 3.
Fair.
I believe that Google and all of the main providers are already working on this because it's a natural part of the evolution of what's going on. Because as Jason was saying, we've got the video and pictures and we've got audio and we have these systems all separated and we've got the speech. Now we need to slam them together to create something better. And then when you add robotics to it, now you can have a thing that's walking around or strolling around, following a customer through, let's say, a Best Buy, that's helping them with recommendations on products and services. And when the customer's like, no, I don't think this is not, I'm not interested in this, it's going to pick up on that emotional response, the undertones of the human condition, and then take that as a hint of, okay, maybe this is too expensive for the customer, even though the customer didn't say it. Maybe let's try this thing over here. We really need AI that has emotional intelligence, and that I know for sure is being worked on as part of this multimodal system. And leveraging that in small business is absolutely crucial.
So let's take that case where the small business wants to create the little robot to follow you around in the store and help you and put things in your cart, and wheel it up and check you out and all of that. What are the typical challenges that a business encounters when they're trying to implement or even design that idea to make that come to life?
Well, the challenges are, especially from a small business standpoint, they probably don't have the capital to do that on their own. Mm-hmm. They literally will have to depend on something that Google or ChatGPT or some other provider has already created, a platform that they can then pay a monthly service fee or whatever and leverage that. And that's really it, is that small business simply cannot bring all of these together on their own unless they really have a pretty supreme budget.
It's actually great that you brought up the capital portion, because I think that's a lot of small business owners would, if they're hesitant, it might be just, that funding aspect, right? Especially, economy's being tough right now. You need, save as much as you can. So for small business owners out there, there's obviously probably a variety of different budgets. From comparatively to a higher budget to a lower budget, like AI's custom software, what do you usually see get sacrificed, or what is the difference of quality basically? Do you normally see?
Quality of what specifically?
Like if a small business comes in and say, I have, $10K, I want you to help me build some sort of AI product, versus another one that comes in with $100K, right? Obviously the quality is going to be different. There's going to be more features and different things like that. But what, is it a significant level? If the small business has only a small budget, are they still able to create something that would be useful and beneficial for them, basically? Yeah.
So first, I want to tackle, how do we define a small business versus something, let's say, a micro business? So a micro business could have revenues of $100, $200, $300, $400, $500,000 or something like that. But small business can go anywhere from that to I don't know the official definition, but like 100 million.
Yeah.
Like something crazy. And then you get in the middle market space. So that's where it's tough to pinpoint because the range is massive.
That's right. Yeah.
$100 million small business has the capital to do a lot.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about mom and pop restaurant shops or whatever, they're going to be in that $10,000 range.
Yeah.
So if you've got 10 grand, again, my lens is always we're going to build something custom.
Yep.
If you need a platform that's already pre-built, you pay that $20 monthly fee and go to town. That's not us. So if you're going to have something built, you have to have the capital. 10 grand, probably not going to cut it.
Sure.
And if we are building something for 10 grand, it does like one thing or two things.
Got it.
And if it's AI, we just integrated with ChatGPT via API, and then you're just asking it questions, and that's probably it. So once you get to the 100 grand, 500 grand range, now these are more of the projects that we work in.
Gotcha.
And because, again, it's a software system, you need all of the software things, a login portal. You need to figure out what the data is doing, where it's going.
Right.
And now all data generated by AI must be protected as though it's customer data. So you need all of the security that any software system would have.
Yeah.
And on top of that, interfaces and the works. So once you get to that higher budget, now you can create software that looks, feels, and works like the software you're already used to in everyday life.
I'm wondering if I want to challenge you here.
Destroy
I'm going
me.
to throw down the gloves. All right.
Ruin me.
So the concept of like agents creating agents, to me, that makes it egalitarian, that
Sounds pretty
anybody can
incestuous to me.
anybody can come along and use, okay, so Copilot 4.0 or ChatGPT 4.0 or Copilot, you can say, I want to create an agent that does this. And it'll ask you a couple of prompts. What specifically do you want it to do? What do you want to call it? What's its knowledge source? What are the various topics or workflows that it might incorporate? And then it spins that up so that you can then go forward and immediately test your agent.
Mm-hmm.
So if you essentially take what is a use case that and plug it in, it can start to create that for you. And it doesn't require all that investment. What it requires is access to your data and that mechanism. In Microsoft, it's Copilot Studio that backs all that up. So if that capability is there now, it's reliant on the customer that has to go to Microsoft to get it, but they can spin up all these different things from it. So doesn't that give that small business the advantage to create what they need?
See, but Mr. Price, this is where you're supposed to step in. Remember, we build custom software applications from the ground up, and we then integrate AI into them. What you're talking about is that subscription service that Microsoft has that anyone can go in, log in, configure, and use. I would argue that's not a custom software application.
All right.
So the answer is absolutely. The small businesses, especially the really small ones, need to be using those tools. They're probably a small restaurant with 3 employees is not going to come to me and say, build me a custom software application. They're not going to do it. They've got a budget of
different
$20,
levels.
$30, $40 a month max for the tools that they need. Their POS system, that kind of stuff. So we work with the small businesses on that higher scale. They're making millions and millions and millions already. They've got so many clients. It could be like a financial institution investing or something, and they need a system for the clients to log into and view their investments. That's not a mom and pop shop kind of thing. So absolutely, they should be using tools like that, but they're not going to call me until they've either used those tools or they need something greater and they want to integrate those tools into what they need built.
So as as an individual who creates software utilizing AI, I want to ask you, could you identify maybe, at what point should they consider a custom software?
Mm-hmm.
And what are the prerequisites? Like, how do you, because we just talked about data in one of our initial conversations in our podcast, we mentioned that, a lot of us small businesses might not even have the data
Correct.
structured either correctly or structured digitally, kept digitally for us
most
to
don't.
utilize that.
Yeah.
So could you perhaps identify what are some prerequisites? Where is it that a custom app comes in? Why should someone, I could be $100 million company and still might utilize an agent from ChatGPT or
Absolutely.
Copilot or whatever. So what are the specific needs that would make me want to go and, let's say, do a custom app development?
That is an actual, like a really complex question because every industry and every company is different. So AI does not have to have a lot of your data because it already has the internet's data.
Mm-hmm.
But the power of AI for business comes in if you can feed it your own data.
That's right. Yeah.
So the really small businesses, again, I go back to like, let's say restaurants or you get 10, 20 employees. You may not really have a whole lot of data, but you're going to love the fact that the AI can provide feedback, opinions, suggestions for your employees or can talk to your customers. And you need nothing from your own business to make that happen. But if you do have data, so like with a chatbot, you need to feed in your menu. You need to feed in maybe if you have technical requirements, you're an engineering firm, you need to feed that in so that the AI you can use to reference your existing data to help you make decisions. So decision making is key when you start going up the chain and you do have data. And the AI can analyze that data.
So then a prerequisite would be data.
If you need that.
If you need that. So could you give an example of a case where we don't need that? You brought up a really good point, by the way. Appreciate that. AI could leverage all data that cross internet. But at the same time, all businesses are different.
Yeah.
Just because your data looks like that doesn't mean that my data is going to look like that. But let's put that aside for now. So could you elaborate on that a little bit more?
So I actually gave examples of businesses that don't need any data to use AI.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be where the AI is providing feedback in a human kind of format to either the employees or customers or whatever.
So,
But where you should be leveraging your own data, the thing is, I think of right away is a company that we were working with, and they produce stainless steel products.
Mm-hmm.
And a ton of them, different kinds, and they have robotic welders and all this really awesome equipment, and they have all of this technical requirements for each of these products that they're producing for their clients.
Mm-hmm.
So to put all of that data into an AI platform,
mm-hmm.
instead of having to go pull the book, go to page 35 and see what nut or bolt needs to be at this thread, depth and distance and pitch and whatever, they could go to the AI and just say, hey, for this stainless steel whatever, what are the requirements I need for this? And it just pulls it right up in 3 seconds, 5 seconds. And then you can say, hey, I need to cross-reference these two products, and it'll pull them up side by side instead. So to use the data you have to then help make the AI like a more advanced requirements gathering, like a control F. AI is great at control F on steroids. It'll find what you need real quick in a sea of data. It'll look for it.
Awesome. And so,
Medical companies especially
Yeah.
would benefit greatly from that kind of stuff.
so now, based on that, at which point, so would it be the latter of the two that, I have specific data, so therefore I need a custom software?
Custom software, if you want to go that route, you can. When a company needs custom software, I mean, there's 10, 20, 30, 40 criteria points that we can touch on. But oftentimes, a company is looking for a custom system, one, because systems already out there that you can subscribe to they do 70% of what the business needs, but they're missing that secret sauce, 30, 40%.
Definitely.
Because a lot of businesses, especially ones that have grown a whole lot, they started from nothing. And I call them the Excel spreadsheet empire. The Excel empire. They're running these crazy large businesses on Excel spreadsheets. It's like, it's time to switch over.
No,
But
man,
they've
my
created-
macro.
and we got a client right now that their whole 40 years in business, it's all this crazy Excel spreadsheet macro, and they all connect and talk.
Yeah.
And then their clients see this and go like, why are you in the Stone Age? And they feel uncomfortable. And it's hard for them to train new employees because the new generation probably hasn't used Excel or doesn't know a lot about it.
I mean, on everyone's resume, everyone's an Excel expert. So
Everyone now, and they've never opened the damn thing. And so we've created a custom software application for them to duplicate the process they built using Excel. So their employees already know the process because they've been doing it for 40 years. We duplicated it in a software system that they are familiar with. Anything they would have gotten off the shelf doesn't mimic their current process. It will require retraining. And people are stubborn.
oh yeah.
People don't want to. I know. People don't want to change for any reason at all. So to take something that a business is already used to, that's their secret sauce, their bread and butter, and slap a software system on top to give you the benefits of custom software, and then slap AI into that, everybody's slapping everybody. And it's a good time.
So
Go ahead.
yeah, I was gonna say, kind of off that, like, have you seen these like bigger small businesses try, like what JP was saying, like go to Copilot, create their own like kind of software or agent, things like that, realize it's not enough, and then come to you guys for like a custom solution? And like and if you have seen that, what was like the problem with, what they were trying to do versus like making them realize, oh, we do need something custom?
They do. So oftentimes, especially when we're talking about the larger end of the small business sector, they already have either an internal or external IT team.
Right.
So the IT team is already going to have played around with these kinds of things. But the IT team doesn't want to be bothered with something or another, or it would be too difficult for them to train everyone, or to configure the tool to work differently for each department. To them, it could be a hassle. With custom software, we can put everybody on rails and define exactly the use case and the efficiency path where there's no risk of deviating from that. And so we'll build a software system to pigeonhole a process so that it always works in the exact way that you need it.
Nice.
For each department, interconnected, and use that as like a superpower, so to speak. And then we just integrate, Copilot, ChatGPT, whatever, Google Gemini into that via API to help charge it up.
So if everybody's really stubborn
Yeah.
and they already come to talk with you with those misconceptions of what AI can and can't do or what runs it, Skynet is behind the whole thing, whatever it is. What are like those top misconceptions that you have to bring to light, show them the truth?
Misconceptions about what AI can and can't do?
Yeah. Your custom software, you
I
can
know.
do everything.
I mean, partially that's kind of true. The misconception is what's your budget? We want, please build us the next Facebook for our whatever. And I'm like, okay, do you have like $4 billion? Oh, no. Okay. the next question is, well, what can we get for our budget? And it's like, not Facebook, not even close to that.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of misconceptions with custom software is actually, oh, I didn't know it could do that. I didn't know we could do this. I didn't know we could design it in this way. Because it's custom, think of it like building a custom building or a custom car. Every single application is completely different. So we can build it any way that you need it built. And I don't think they understand how powerful that is until we say, hey, you have a completely blank canvas here to build what you need to improve your processes, improve your customer experience, help your employees get their work done, improve efficiencies. All of it we can put in this software wrapper. We just need to spend the time designing it the right way. And the time to design it freaks them out. Wait, you mean in 2 weeks it's not just done? I'm like, no, we got to spend a couple months and literally pen and paper draw what this system does, what features it has. We need to go to your clients and ask them questions and pull them. What do they want? What do they need? What would make their experience better? Go to all of your employees in each individual department. What can we build that would make your life that much better where you're going to love working here? You've got to do all that legwork. It takes months for complex systems, of course.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can get to the actual building. And that's just the minimum viable product. Then years and years go by and you keep adding more and more and it becomes this behemoth. And often what customers will do at that point is they'll then turn it into a software as a service and start selling it to other companies in their same situation. Yep. You made the investment, why not?
Yeah.
Most of the software you use today actually was this exact situation. Some company needed it internally. They built it out like Slack, if I remember right, was an internal tool for development, and then they spun it off and sold it to everybody else. So that investment doesn't go to waste.
So if your cousin comes to you and says, I have an idea and I can build it out of my garage, give him money.
Give them money. Now your cousin's hopefully going to use AI to build it.
So how does your cousin decide? How do you and your team stay abreast of everything that's changing? If we're going to go through this design sequence that takes months, and we get there and things have changed since then, how do you stay abreast of it all?
You cry. Yeah, you cry. Lots of crying. Sleepless nights. The field moves so quickly, it's almost impossible to keep up. And we actually try not to. Because it moves so quickly, the thing that you obsessed over that's going to come out tomorrow, well, the next day it's already obsolete. So our approach has actually been to take a step back, let it evolve, and every few months check on what's going on and see the value there. But whatever you design and create for a business, that original blueprint of the software and the AI that you're putting together, the efficiencies and the benefits aren't just something going to change overnight. The tech might improve. The model's going to get more intelligent and provide better responses. But that isn't an alarm to always be jumping to the next thing. If this great next thing comes out, we will change that blueprint if it's that revolutionary, as long as the client is okay with extending the development time of their software and whatever additional budget it may need to implement this new feature. But because we build custom systems, you can change whatever you want, whenever you want to. You're not pigeonholed into your little monthly payment. So, hey, tech, keep improving. I don't care. We're just going to keep implementing all the cool new stuff you keep coming out with.
Keeps you in business.
Keeps us in business. Yep. Keeps us fit. We're always running after the new tech.
There it is.
Yep. Right? Get those Chevrolet legs running.
So no matter what, you boil everything down to it always comes back to the use case.
Yeah.
Because even though the tech evolves, the case stays the same.
Mm-hmm.
And what I always like to do is calculate the ROI on the case based on the pain that they're having today and how much time that's costing today.
Yeah.
And to alleviate that should give you back this much more time or this much more in terms of productivity, which has a financial equivalent.
Yeah, because the process is infinite. You build the thing, you get those benefits, and then you do it all over again with your improved thing. So the chain over 30 years could be, we were inefficient by 80%, and then 10 years goes by and we're now at 50% inefficiency. And it keeps building, and then, we're at 5% inefficiency, and you keep layering it and improving it and improving it and improving it. So there doesn't have to be this rush to, oh crap, this new thing came out and we don't have it yet. Instead, it's great, this new thing came out, let's see what we can do with it.
Kind of speaking on that rush, do you see clients like come to you and just be like, I don't know what we need, but we need AI in the business.
Yeah.
Figure it out. And like, just because they hear, the hype and everything about AI, they just want to get in. How do you handle, like that type of client, or like how do you work with them about it?
It gets even better when the stakeholders, CEOs, whoever at the top that are needing this thing are like 80 years old. So we have a client we're working with right now. That is the exact situation. The CEO owner was 75, 80, something like that. Still phone calls, still paper, barely knows how to use a computer. All I know is I need this AI software stuff. And I know we need it to help with this stuff. What can you do for us? And then, of course, we need to go a few steps down to the individuals that actually understand and use technology, and then start that whole process of, okay, who are the stakeholders? Who are the customers? How many departments do you have? Who's using what? What can we build to really help solve these problems and accomplish these goals?
Have you gone through that process before and then just come to the conclusion like they're just not ready, or there isn't a software that helps?
Yes, it's rare, but oftentimes if it goes to that point, it's because either they don't have the budget or they don't have the manpower. We could build the most amazing software system, AI-assisted thing on the planet, but we need the employees to help us along the way. And if the employees are too busy working, or time can't be carved for us to say, hey, we finished building this section of the software, can you please take a look at it, make sure it's performing the way you want it, in the way you want it that helps you. If we don't get that time and feedback, the whole thing's going to die. And we have had a client where that happened. After COVID, they started losing their own clients. They started losing employees because of it. And we could never get the time we needed to finish their software system because they have to provide the input.
Right.
And it just kind of halted.
Sure, that's not the only time that's happened in COVID
History.
times.
Yeah.
So this 80-year-old company leader, does he have a snowball's chance in hell of adopting the AI product that he was looking to create?
No. Well, okay. He personally will never use it, and he thinks it's witchcraft. Everyone that's like 40 years and younger in the department already love, like, we're not done yet, but they already love what we have built.
Right.
They're like, oh, this is going to be great. The people above that are like, no, I don't need this. I'm already happy with what I have. It works fine.
So what advice do you have for small businesses that are looking to adopt AI technology? Do they turn to their 40 and unders as influence to drive the change in the company?
I wish I would say like, no, anyone can blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, yeah, if you have, age isn't the most important thing, but you're more likely to find tech savvy individuals that are at a younger age. So if a company has tech savvy anybody, they should be the ones that are assisting in the process. Those that are very resistant to change and resistant to technology are going to hamper our ability to produce the right solution. But if we provide enough of a positive use case for the vision of this system that's being built and why it's going to really help a person complete work or do something, oftentimes if you get them on board with the idea to help you, you break all the barriers down. Mm-hmm. And now, even though they don't want something different, they're excited for what it could be because they're now helping in the process. You've broken those barriers down. Mm. So you got to convert them slowly and find out what makes them tick so you can help with that process.
So I have a question on the flip end now. So we talked about, older generation who may not know how to use AI. What about clients that tech savvy, everything, and they think they know everything about AI? They think they know exactly what they need, things like that. How do you work with them to manage their expectations? Because they think they know everything, probably don't. They think they know what their product or software can do, probably don't. How do you manage those expectations? And then also, as like a small business owner, if like especially one that's maybe in the IT field or something that knows about technology, how can they like put aside again their stubbornness too a little bit and listen to you as an expert coming in to help you with that?
That's honestly all about psychology.
Fair enough.
Especially
Yeah.
if you come across like more narcissistic personality types. If they're that gung-ho about, I'm already an expert at this and that or whatever, the conversation, you have to shift it to, I know you've already thought about this tool. Would it work great for your goals? You know that they've never heard of this tool before, but you approach it as though because they're already the expert at everything,
Right.
as though they've already considered it. And then you're curious if they've thought of it and if it would be a good fit. That's the way that I handle those types of clients.
It's nice being the dumbest person in the room.
Yeah. I'm just a beauty. I'm not the brains. Just let's be fair.
How do you go about then measuring the success of a project that involves AI? Is adoption one of those metrics?
Adoption is, in my opinion, probably, it's the number one metric you have to hit before any other metrics could even exist. If you don't adopt it, it's automatically a failure.
Done.
So adoption is key, and adoption is really, really hard. More so from if it's an internal tool, employees adopting it can be really hard because they're used to the tools they have and they hate change.
Right.
That's why it's really important to get them on board during the creation so they get excited about the tool.
Okay.
And that they learn in little chunks as you go. So they're not trying to learn a whole tool in one go.
Mm-hmm.
So once you've passed adoption, which is the bare minimum, then the KPIs, your performance indicators, are just what was the tool designed to do. If it's a tool to speed some process up, time the process. I have literally sat at someone's desk with a stopwatch or my phone, hit start, had them go do something, and then hit stop. And that could be part of that discovery process. So once we finish the system, you do that again. Did it work? Did it save that time? And not all software, not all AI always has to be about efficiency.
Right.
Sometimes it can be about other things, quality of life, about just having some new cool thing that you can use as a marketing tool. Our software system or our company has this, and it's just for marketing. So at that point, KPI is it helping bring in more customers because they want to use this little cool feature. Your financial firm can analyze your customers' investments more effectively than this other one because you've got this brand new tool. So the KPIs is just what was the system designed for, and is it accomplishing those goals?
Beyond time saved, I can also see like human errors go down.
Reduction in human errors, yeah, for sure.
Risk goes down. Revenue goes up.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed.
Speaking on the human error part, is that something that you also look in the discovery phase, like in each of these steps and whatever process or whatever you're trying to build, how much you can limit those human errors?
Oh yeah. So when I mentioned the Excel spreadsheet empire, the amount of errors, especially to the new employees that don't know Excel that well, and they actually delete a macro, they delete a cell, they have no idea what the hell they're doing, they didn't know they deleted it, all the numbers get all screwed up, and then they ship that off to the client. The clients are like, what the fuck is this? Well, in a custom software system, you can't accidentally delete stuff because we all put it in form fields and whatever. Or we've got history tools to, zoom back in time. So, yes, to help make humans less stupid. Software and AI is an incredible combination.
Fair enough.
Now, where do you think there's a in-the-box thought process when it comes down to small businesses implementing AI? And where would you say it's perhaps a challenge for our audience, small businesses who can break out of that box and think out of the box in utilizing AI or implementing it, whether it's software, customized, or just general subscriptions that are around?
When you say, in a box, are you implying that maybe they feel so overwhelmed or they don't understand technology that they're not willing to make any moves to improve their situation?
No, I mean, so their thought process might be, I don't know, oh, it's just about process. I can't utilize AI or implement AI outside of that box. Mm-hmm. What are areas that we've, like a small business, wouldn't have thought of in your experience, since you've had quite a bit of experience developing customized software? Where are some areas where the customer comes in and says, this is what I want, and like you said, the outcome is completely different? Where was their
disconnect?
The disconnect, or what was their construct around AI, and then you help them basically break out of that? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So they don't know what they don't know. And if they're in a box and they have a way of thinking, because they do often comes to us and they say, hey, this is what we want. And I'm always like, but are you sure? Did you do the footwork? Did you poll your clients and your employees? And did you really understand your own business problems? And the ones at the top are the worst. Mm-hmm. Because they have their performance dashboards and everything, and they think everything's running smoothly and there's no problems. But no one's telling them about the problems because they don't want to get in trouble or they want to get fired or whatever. Right. Or they've got egos because they may own the business and they're just too afraid to be humble and say, yeah, these are actual problems. So really it tends to be a personal issue that puts them in a box to where they're not willing to just let go, give up, and say, I need help with something. I think this is what it is, but I'm all ears if you've got new ideas.
And based on that, would you say majority of what AI applications are currently being developed are around processes? Would you say?
Yeah, most
that's
of it
accurate?
is, I would say right now, process and data, for sure. It's the easiest way to help a business. I think the chatbots are probably the most used. That's right. Throw them on any website, pay a little subscription, feed it your menu or feed it something so it can talk to your customers. I would love to see more advanced, and this I think is just data and privacy that's affecting this. I want to see chatbots more advanced where it takes all of your data into account. So think of like you want to schedule an appointment with your medical provider. You can log into the app so it's within their ecosystem, and then you can talk to the chatbot to schedule it or explain your health issues or things like that. I want to see that to be more integrated direct with your personal situation. Or your order that isn't here yet, it'll check your order and be like, oh, UPS truck fell into the ditch. Sorry. Yeah.
I had a peanut butter stout at lunch and
yeah, help me out here. AI doctor, please.
Privacy. Is it a big concern with customers, or do they only come to realize through the course of design that it should be important to them?
Every single one, every time. It's always at the end of the sentence. I need blah, 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 blah. Oh, and by the way, it better be super secure and private. They don't know what that means. They have no idea what privacy, security, all of that stuff means. But they know they need it because they don't want to get sued.
So how do you handle that?
We've got it taken care of. There's maybe there's a misconception that things are just automatically not private or something. I'm not sure. But when you're building custom software, we have rules and regulations that we follow that's the same for most companies on how to protect data, how to encrypt communications, all that kind of stuff. We do that whether you ask for it or not. I don't want to be liable for the software that we built on your behalf having issues. No one wants to have to talk to a lawyer. So, yeah, we take care of that, period. And I always find it funny because internally, they're like, we got to make sure this, we got to make sure that. And I'm like, I know. We're already going to do it no matter what.
Do you think it's because they just hear those news stories about AI and data privacy? And again, like you said, they don't know what it means, but they just see the headline. They're like, if I'm doing AI, I need to make sure it's that.
Yeah. No fault on them at all. Yeah. No fault on them at all. So I'm glad they bring it up, but we're going to do it no matter what. Mm-hmm. We're going to do the best when it comes to the security and privacy and development and all that kind of stuff. California has laws too. Europe, the European Union is at the forefront of all of the AI laws and software laws, and a lot of our software is often used. Clients will be using it in other countries, and so we follow the strict standards from the start. We don't have to worry about it.
I mean, if you guys are fine, I'm going to change the topic slightly.
Go for it.
You're a small business owner yourself. I was just wondering, your process through that, like the start to growing it. Just kind of talk about the small business side, not like AI, but like actually growing a company. Maybe some things you learned or some troubles you had. Just general ideas.
So are you saying we talked about the bots?
Talked about the bots. We're drinking the beer.
Got the beer.
Yes.
Boom.
Now we need the biz.
Exactly.
Okay. I see where you're heading.
Yeah.
So you want to know from me my own personal experience about like starting and growing a business?
Yeah. I mean, like you said, we had a discussion earlier that you started at 11 years ago?
Yes,
11
we
years
talked before this. Yes. Right now we actually got together and we talked. Just so you know how the magic happens.
Yeah. And so you said you started this 11 years ago. So, the early stages, growing, developing, a small business is never easy. I mean, all of us can attest to that. So, what challenges, what you learn, and then just so that like other small business owners out there, I think, at least for me, I know as a small business owner, you don't have a lot of like a large community to tap into, right? Lonely. So just any type of advice or, if someone hears like, oh, they're having a similar problem, they just know, oh, maybe at least I'm not alone in it. So
I think when you're starting anything, whether that's custom software or you're starting a business or you're building a building, at the end of the day, you're building something new, cool, and hopefully fun. And it's okay to not know. Because if you're building something that really hasn't been seen before, then everything is unknown.
That's right.
And you've got to rest and relax and be like, I have no idea what the fuck I'm doing. And that's okay. Be comfortable in the fact that you don't know, but don't sit in it. Don't dwell in it.
That's right.
Take action, find mentors, read books, learn. It's okay to not know. It's not okay to do nothing about it. And so I think I was 26 when all of this started, 24, 25, 26. It was 24. Yeah, I know. I had no business experience other than companies I'd already worked for. I was in school at the time getting my degree in business, but I was an engineering major before that, and calculus is really hard, so I stopped that. Don't do calculus, folks. It's bad for your health. So yeah, we had no idea what the hell we were doing. None at all. But that was okay because what we did know is that we had the tenacity and the excitement and the thirst for learning and adventure to figure it out. It's just a big puzzle. It's constantly evolving. So it's okay. Go do it anyway. Learn from your failures. Make those changes and keep going. You're always tightening bolts along the way, and that's okay. So I would say, don't give up easily.
Mm-hmm.
Fight and scream the whole way. Find mentors, listen to them. They've already been through this 1,000 times. And if they tell you to give up, maybe give up. But until that point, keep going. Learn as much as you can, because that whole process, whether your business makes it through or not, whether you start up a new one, whether you work for another business, all of that learning never leaves you. And it's so incredibly valuable to learn things on your own because you just got up, went outside, and did it.
Yep.
If people want to learn more from you, how can they reach out to you?
I mean, I'll be crying because of calculus, but when I'm not, the best way to find me on LinkedIn, Kyle Duffy. Just type in my name. I'm sure you'll find me. I mean, that's really it. Honestly, follow me on LinkedIn.
And Optimus Computing.
Yes, but our URL is just optimus.dev. Nice and short. Yeah, DEV for development, just in case you didn't know, because we develop software and AI tools.
What?
Is that what we talked about today?
I think so. Find me on LinkedIn. I still have that goal or passion to do voiceover stuff. If you want to find me on social media, Kyle Duffy VO. But I don't talk about software, AI, and tech and business. But if you needed to find me, that's another way to find me. But definitely find me on LinkedIn.
Don't mix the two.
Don't mix the two. Yeah.
Well, thank you, Kyle, for joining us. Thank all of you for being here with us on this episode of Bots, Beers, and the Biz. Check back in on our channel. We'll see you at the next time with somebody almost as interesting as Kyle Duffy.
But always remember, folks, never be afraid to transform and roll out. And you get sued for that one, I'm sure.
Cheers, friends.
Cheers, boys.